Well, back with another project. Got my old Bronco in here this time, and it's had some, there's a noise in the front end, it's a squealing. I've been into it once before and found something very interesting. I'm not sure if it's a bearing or if it's a brake pad. So we're just going to go ahead and go through the front end and make sure everything's good. The bearings, go ahead and put new pads on it, and get this thing where it'll be good to take off-road, because that's what this is pretty much used for. Go up in the mountains and play, and it's pretty much my main fishing rig. So it's going to see mud, you know, it's going to see some abuse every now and then. Nothing terrible, but let me give you a little walk around of it and kind of show you what we got going on, and we'll dive into it. This thing's got some little quirks about it, and some stuff. It's just a lot of little stuff that needs fixed, and that's what we're going to do in this video, is fix as many of them as we can. I don't have much time to work on this thing because there's just so much other stuff going on. So hopefully be able to knock this out in a good timely manner. But it's got a little bit of rust. We're not going to be cutting none out and doing no body work or nothing, but we'll get it coated and everything. And I'd like to clean the underneath up and get everything painted, just looking a lot better. And we'll fix what we have to and upgrade what we can, and just get it ready for this year, and just get it ready for this year's adventures. It's springtime right now, and we got to get it ready to get out in the woods and go play. So y'all hang in there and let's see what we can get done on this. Alright, we got the wheel off. And you can see it's not bad. It's not in bad shape up under here at all. This thing's been took real good care of from the guy I got it from. He'd had it since it was like 3 or 4 years old. It's a 96, so. But the thing that I'm having trouble with is you're going down the road, and it don't do it all the time, but there's a squealing. And first instance, you think it's bearings, but sometimes it only does it when you hit the brakes, so that makes you think brake pads. Well, under here, if I grab a hold of this, so far from what I found, it don't seem like there's not really any movement as far as bearings is concerned. But I did notice one thing. You can see alright, as you can see, as I pick up on this hub, you can see a little bit of movement in that ball joint. But that's not what is going to cause our squealing problem. So I really don't want to have to tear into this thing and do bearings, but if we have to, we have to. So I'm almost thinking just go ahead and put new pads on it, because these pads, here, when I took this apart the first time, now keep in mind, the only time that this thing has ever been serviced is at a dealership. Well, the last time that it was done, it had oil change and the brakes were done. Now keep in mind, this was at a dealership. they put the brake pads in upside down, to where, you know, your curved part of it is going to go here. Well, when I took it out, it was doing this. It was down here. So be careful when you take stuff to the dealership. Some of them new guys that come in, I mean, they're just out of school. They don't know everything. And I know that seems pretty simple on how to put brake pads in, but obviously there was something lost in transmission there. But so I'm thinking just go ahead and let's do the brake pads and see if that fixes it. And if it don't, then we know that it's more likely bearings. So let's get into it. Now, one thing that they did improve on in the later model years of these trucks, used to, you had these pins that went through here, top and bottom, and held the caliper on. You can actually still see the groove. Well, kind of this groove right here is what they used to hold these to the bracket. There was a pin that slid in here, and you'd have to drive that pin out to get them out. Well, now the later models have got these bolts back here. See here, and then down here, and they're 12 millimeter. So that's made it a lot easier taking these calipers loose. You don't have to deal with those pins anymore. And I don't know what year that they actually switched that. This is a 96, and I know that 92 and 93 had the pins. So 94, 95, they've switched these. So just lay that up out of the way, and you can always take a zip tie and tie it up somewhere if you want. But you can see the pads are still, you know, they're where they're supposed to be. And they've got a decent amount of life left on them, but we just go ahead and swap them out, and that way we know that we've got good stuff in there. And if you notice, your front's got a little more material than the back. Not much, but a little bit. So it was wiring pretty much even. Alright, one thing to remember when you're doing brake jobs, before you, because you have to press the piston back in the caliper, come up here and take your cap off of your master cylinder. That way won't be no air in there and build up pressure. Just do that. And then what you're going to do, I strongly suggest go get you one of these from Harbor Freight or anywhere you want. Harbor Freight's usually the cheapest. But just a disc brake, service caliper and service tool kit. And this comes in real handy. I know people will say, oh, you can do the same thing with a C-clamp and an old brake pad. But I've done that. This is a lot better, a lot easier. And that's what tools are made for, to make the job easier. So just spend a little bit of money and get the right tools. As you can see, I've got some others in here that I've bought over the years. That one right there, you know, I'm sure it'd work in a pinch, but I've used this one. I really like it. They've got a deluxe kit. This is just the basic bare bones, and this one will do the type that the piston that threads in, and the ones that obviously the ones that just push in. But go get you one of these kits and make your life a whole lot easier. Alright, one thing with the new pads, they give you new retainers. I guess that's what you'd call these. But these are the ones that come off the truck. I just cleaned them up because there's nothing wrong with them. Now, obviously, if they're bent up and in bad shape or missing, put them back on. But these just needed some cleaning up, and they're good to go. So, and now while you're in here, go ahead and take a little time, clean all this up. You know, just clean it up, make it look a little better, and make everything go back easier. Alright, with this disc brake kit, you'll have to play with it and figure out what works for your application. You've got these discs here, and you can tell these are made for the ones that the pistons that screw into the caliper because of this little stub right here. So, but this, you can see that fits over top of that real nice. And then what you'll do, just set this in here, and then these little stubs will go inside those, and then that's what you'll use to push that back. Just play with it and see what you can figure out and what works best for you. Just run this out, and you'll have to play with it a little bit to get it right where you need it. And I advise getting this centered up, because you don't want to push off to one side, because you can really mess that piston up and get it crooked in the bore, and then you got a lot of trouble. And you'll feel it bottom out. And that's when you're putting new pads in, you got to make sure and get it bottomed out, otherwise it won't go around the new pads. Now what you want to do is take your retainers, and you can see where the old pads was riding right here. So what you're going to do, take you some of this brake parts lubricant, and just put you a little dab on there. Remember, a little dab will do you. Now, take you a little bit, put right there. Get you a little bit, put right there. Get you a little bit, put right there. Take you another little bit, put right there. Now, let's set this on there. Rinse and repeat. Now, slide your new pads in. Now you're ready to put the caliper back on. And one other thing, be sure these pins right here, you can see, these sliders, make sure they're sliding. Because if they ain't, now it's time to fix it. And then be sure and pull your, that's what these little clips down here are for on this pad, to help seat everything. And align everything up. Alright, now see how all that's floating? There, that's what you want. Now, just go ahead and put your hardwire back in. Play with it a little bit, get your holes lined up. Oh, that's working. All we gotta do is the other side. Alright, now we're on the driver's side, and I've never been into this side, so I have no idea what to expect. The noise sounded like it was coming from the passenger side, so that's the only side that I checked before. So, let's see what this side says. Now, let's see. And you can see that ball joint didn't move at all. So that's still good. So passenger side will have to be replaced eventually. And that's the same amount of wire, so it don't look like we've got a caliper locking up or anything, so that's a good sign. Yeah. There you can see they've got about the same material. And then what I was talking about a while ago, these right here, those will actually clip onto your caliper. So be sure to do that. That'll help line everything up and keep them where they're supposed to be. Now, these was put in correctly. When I said I got into this before and they put them in backwards, you see, they're supposed to sit in here like this. And those ears down here are supposed to slide into these channels on these retainers, like that right there. Okay? What they had done, it would have been like this, because the pad material was on the right side. So you see right there, that's how it was in here before, and it was aggravating to get out, but that's how it was before. That is definitely not the way you're supposed to do it. So, and here again, we'll take these out. They're in good shape. We'll just clean these up. We'll reuse them.
Because we picked the first.
Alright, remember what I said about taking the cap off? Look there. It almost pushed a bunch of fluid out. And I actually had to stop before I bottomed the driver's side caliper out because it got that close to running over. So be mindful of that when you do this. And that's one reason why they give you the marks at max. I think this one was at it, or maybe a little over. So you can see, if you push one side all the way, that's fine. But just keep an eye on your level. Make sure that's fine. Alright, the next thing we're going to tackle is these steps. Now, they look good on some trucks and they look good on this one, but they're just not practical. Like I said in the beginning, this is my fishing rig, and it stays up in the mountains most of the time, and it's just something good to get knocked off on the trail or something like that. And the other side is already busted. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see busted there, and the whole back's gone right there. So if they was, I wish they was in, both of them was in good shape, but they're not. So I'm gonna yank them off, and what you need is, these have got 6 10mm bolts, and it looks like 2 8mm for the front and the back, just to kind of help hold it up. So let's get these things knocked off here. Voila! Oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay. That looks good. Now, so you got these little tabs here. Need to come off. Let's see. Right there. And those will be 8mm. There's number 2. Alright. There's the steps out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put them out there. I will sell these for $5,000. Original OEM Ford steps. Sport steps. Slightly used. Comes with hardware. Mostly intact. No low ballers. I know what I have. Now that we've got the steps off the side, we'll turn our attention to the back here and clean some of this up. Just check everything. Now you can see it looks pretty typical, you know, rusty frame, all that, but it's not terrible. The worst part is that right there. And this right here we're going to coat with that rust mort. Try to slow this down, maybe stop it. But under here, it's just typical rust. And there's really not much you can do. So a can of black spray paint is your best friend. So if you want to clean it up and all that, that's what I'm going to do. Just spray it and make it look a little better. And if you notice, that's the factory drums on this, and the inside looks great. I've done had them off and everything, but the worst part under here is these rear shackles. They're starting to really flake with rust, and you can see the tub's getting rust in it too. So that'll have to be patched on a future project. But that's pretty much what we're going to do, is just clean this up and coat this here and move on to the next project. As you can see right here, that's pretty bad. Right there, big rust hole. I mean, these will definitely have to be replaced before long, but don't have time to do it right now. We're just going to put lipstick on a pig and call it good. And then you see right there, there's some more rust in the tub, and then obviously you got that whole layer on the quarter. So, but this is the only bad spot, like just back here at the back. This is the worst of it. The rest of the truck is really solid. So I must just never washed it, and everything got kicked up in the back, and that was it. So we'll get back to it. See, most of that is the factory paint that's coming off. There's some metal coming off with it. Phew, wow. And that's the thing, don't be afraid to get in here and poke around, because you gotta know what you're dealing with. Alright, like I've showed you before, a little dab will do you. Just take this, just a little tan on it. Now you see, like I explained before, you can see why I like the brush. You can really get in them places. Put this stuff in there. This will be a little tougher. There's a lot of paint still left on this one. But we'll get what we can. Be careful not to get this in your eyes or anything, because it is an acid. Alright, that's got that. We'll let it sit for probably 48 hours. Come back and see what it looks like. Let me get this little bit right here. There we go. Alright guys, I'm out here in the old Bronco, cruising it around. I was going to bring it out, show you the difference, show you how it looks like without them steps on it, and see how the rust treatment has done. There's been some time passed since we put that on there, so I'll find me a spot and we'll get out and check everything out. Y'all hang in there. Alright guys. Oh. Let's see. Like I said, there's where we treated the rust, that stuff. And it's turned some of it black. So we'll keep an eye on it for a while, see what happens. And you know, down there it's still, you know, we'll see how it does from here. But as you can tell, the thing looks so much better without them steps on the side. Plus, with this going up in the mountains a lot, those were just asking to be knocked off. So yeah, you can see. Yeah, that looks way better. And remember, we changed the brake pads. See if that was the squealing. Well, squealing's still here, so more than likely it's bearings. Yeah, so that'll probably be something we tackle on the next episode. Be sure and come back for the next episode. I know this one probably wasn't very entertaining, but maybe there was some things in it that you got from it, and maybe some stuff you didn't know how to do. You went ahead and maybe found something helpful. So like I said, on next episode we'll probably tackle the bearings, and there's a few other projects. For whatever reason, the tailgate don't want to open, so there's something wrong with the latch inside. So we'll tackle that one. We need to put a radio in it because the factory one don't work anymore. So there's always something with these old rigs, but that's part of the fun. So like I said, if you like it, if you like the video, be sure to come back for the next episode. Let me know what you think of this old Bronco. I like it pretty good. You know, it's got the NITE package on it, and you know, I've always thought that was cool ever since I seen my first one. So I guess that's it for this episode, and we'll just catch you on the next one. See you.